Good day, Miss G, right? Or Lady G.
G,
My
yes.
apologies, Lady G.
Thank
And
you
how
for
are you
having
this
me.
day?
Maybe a bit tired, but I'm good. I'm loving the weather,
Yeah,
and
but
the backdrop over here.
oh
It's
yeah,
very
this
beautiful
is the
here.
view right here.
Yeah, the view right here is,
It's the view.
is
Actually, you
beautiful.
don't see much except the trees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point. If you love nature, well, some of us do love nature. We love trees, we love flowers. So,
I do myself,
that's good.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is if you look, it's like you think everything is so clustered together. It's just
Yes.
amazing from the view that we're sitting in. It's like everything is clustered together. And you
Together.
get close, it's like, damn, I mean, things
True.
about,
True.
but 30 meters apart or what.
Apart, yeah. Well, that's what you get when you look at things from a distance.
So recently I decided, do my hair a bit. How does it look?
I like your hair.
Is it?
Very, very bold, very bold of you. You know how we are often shy to experiment with anything,
Yeah.
as to what you're going to look like, or are people going to be like, oh no, you don't. But I don't think you probably even bothered to think about that. You're like, you know what, I'm going to do this and I want to do this.
Let me just do it.
And so, like, yeah, so that's my thing. I like that courage in someone to be like, I'm just going to do, and yeah, and it suits you. So
Oh, thanks.
it suits you.
When you said bold, I thought, it's ugly, but just the fact that you're willing to still, keep it.
But even for people where, like, you know what, it does look ugly. I mean, besides the hair itself, also, sometimes you look deeper into something, not just the hair. Is that if you can find courage to do this, even if it didn't look great, because in life is about risks. So if you start with the small things, little by little, you'll be courageous in doing bigger things for yourself as well.
So, speaking of your well-being, how do you do it? How do you do it? Skin is glowing, glistening, shining, whichever word you choose. Whichever word you choose.
Well, it helps that there is skin dermatologists, that give you tips other than the facials that you get, So I'm using one that is it's an enzyme treatment from DMK that I'm using. So the enzyme treatment is supposed to resuscitate all those other old cells when you were younger. Remember when you were younger, how good your skin was, And the older we get, we deteriorate. So we have to upkeep with our old growing bodies. You know what I mean? You change, your color skin changes, you get discolorations and stuff like that, and how you should also, like, as an individual, kind of like find out about your skin. Is it an oily skin, Is it a dry skin, so that you can get products that will help your skin along to be,
Okay.
this glowing like mine.
Yeah, as I see it. I kind of can't even see you. That's a joke. But I'm saying it because, like, I can see your skin. Yeah, I can really see your skin. It's like the hard part about it is like, how do I, obviously you're bound to change, right?
Yes.
There's nothing you can do about
No,
that.
no.
But it's like, how do you at least, I'll just say, for lack of a better term, look better.
Look better.
Yeah, just how do you just look better? Even when time starts catching up.
I mean, also, like, for me, like, I make sure that I work out like 3 to 4 times a week. Get the blood flowing. You need to get the blood flowing as well. It's very important to upkeep
Speaking
with.
of which, do you think in today's world, is it good for us to actually work in offices?
Um,
You know, that
it
desk job, usually what it's
the
called.
the desk job, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, we have to at some point,
Yeah.
right? But can it not be regulated? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Because, like I say, the older we get, a lot of things like deteriorate, like even your self esteem based on all of these things. You know what I'm saying? So to also be out there and to feel alive and let us experience certain things and not just being stuck in a desk job all the time. I mean, it's dull. Wouldn't you find it dull? At 8 o'clock you come in, you sit. Ever since you've been sitting at that desk, at 5 o'clock you leave.
It's that's what I'm thinking because
On Monday to Friday.
that's exactly what I'm thinking, and especially in health terms,
Yes.
right? Because you're sitting there, you're not working out, you're not keeping your body busy,
No.
and then all you eat is junk in most cases.
Pretty much.
I think the most thing that usually kills us is the snacks. For me, yeah. I mean, yes, you can have a splendid, lunch. Fine, it's healthy, but then during that time, you're sitting and you just want to chew on something. Packet of chips, chocolate, sweets. I mean, so I think those are the things that cause our body to be unhealthy and stuff.
100%.
Suddenly catch all those
I agree with you because I'm also like
diseases.
Yeah, and we catch these diseases. Also with the foods that we eat, it's like, could we try and eat more natural?
Yeah.
It gets tiring being told that, oh, this is healthy. There's this concoction. I mean, how many are there? And also, how do we know they're good for our bodies? For goodness sake, let's chop spinach and cook spinach in a proper way, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's also try healthier snacks, healthier alternatives. I mean, grab an apple, make a fruit salad, create a balance, because it's not like we're always going to be 100% with these things. But if you make sure that the 80% that you could give your body, it should be good, And who's responsible for your body? It's you, nobody
course,
else,
yeah.
And like how long you want it to last, Sometimes the fatigues, the mental fatigues as well, and the emotional mood swings, especially with us women, with the things that we consume. For example, dairy. I mean, you consume a lot of dairy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
it could like alter the mood swings and the hormones. You might find that you're getting pimples as well, or like rashes here and there. So we should really like, for me, care about what we put like in our mouths.
Oh, okay.
Like, we should go deeper into that, because it is your body. It's the only one that you have. Are you going to get another one?
You know you won't.
So it's like, at least at the age of 70, I mean, I want to see myself still working out, and my body should be able to carry me. So it starts with how I treat it and the things that I do.
But now let's say your environment, much more, I wouldn't say much more, but in a different environment than the one you're in. All I see is chips, spato. So those and they're affordable. Remember, spato, starting price is it's 10 rand. Chips,
Yes.
12 to 10 rand. I mean, so that can end up being, a lifestyle. This is what I eat because I can afford this, and other than having those options. I mean, if you look at the price of fruit today and vegetables, it's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. Just even to the small things.
Yeah.
I mean, even your snacks. Why? Who buys biscuits at 50 rand, like a box? Why are they 50 rand?
Why are they?
You know what I mean? A box of also something that's so unhealthy.
Anyhow, here's the interesting thing. One of the other factors that caused it is this. So, petrol. So petrol keeps going up and down, right? Up and down. It happens, right? So here's the thing. So this guy was speaking. I don't remember who he was. So he says, right, putting the government on the spot. He says the thing is with government, it's the monitoring that the government just does not do, right? So what the government will say, okay, fine, petrol is going up. It's gonna be 18 rand, maybe this month or this week or a couple of goes back down, it's 16, right? But during that time when it went up, certain prices went up. But when it went down, prices didn't go down.
Wow.
So when the petrol prices rises again, and they always do.
Yes.
So maybe now they're gonna say it's 17, and people are like, okay, taxis are like, okay, we're adjusting by 2 rand. So that's what happened. That's why everything ended up being so expensive so quickly.
Wow.
Because of that, government didn't regulate that. They're supposed to say, okay, guys, the petrol is low now, so you can go down, right? And remember, prices go up, not salaries, right? Prices. We're talking about prices. So when prices go up, they're saying they're adjusting, but they're only adjusting to prices, but not to salaries. So that's why salaries also stayed mostly in that area. Yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is because, well, I learned something new that as you're talking about the petrol, if it keeps increasing and we're increasing these things because of the petrol,
yeah.
you know, and then they never go back down, making it then a factor of also like the salary is not,
Yeah.
you know, it's really sad. And I was also going to say that touching on, well, if that's the budget, because petrol is 10 rand and whatnot, I was about to say it's our government to make sure that, I don't understand why essentials are expensive in the first place. I mean, tomato, an onion, that's a vegetable. It's a staple, a daily,
Yeah.
you know, you cook with this thing. Why must it be expensive? Why can't it not be easily accessible to also people that need it? Why must there be parts of South Africa like kind of like segregated in terms of, well, this is the rich place. This is, in fact, even now, if we really want to look at it, it's hard to look at it and be like, well, there's middle class people anymore. It's like going to an extent.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, you don't even know.
And
are
they
they
just
really
want to
still there?
create poor and
rich.
rich, and that's it.
And the interesting thing about rich is this. Is like levels of it. That's the interesting thing
That's
about it.
another
Someone would
thing.
think, it's rich. But anyone can tell you there's a difference between a Jay-Z rich
Where do we start?
and a Bill Gates rich. You know, there's a difference. So
Is it not wealthy anymore? 'Cause
that's
wealth,
wealth.
right?
But still, the rich, the difference between the two. You get someone who has over 100 million, and then you get someone who has over 100 billion. The difference between the two.
Can we just even talk about this money? How is one person allowed to have and accumulate so much money because they don't know what to do with it? Like, as you speak about this regulation thing, why can't we say that as you work, and it should be regulated like around the world, is that the furthest that you go is 15 million. You can't get more than that, even if when you have that. The rest of the money, let it be regulated to people that truly need it. There's African countries that need some of your 100 million. I mean, your table is the amount of probably my car.
Just the table.
Just the table.
It could be even way more.
It
Because
could
you know
be
those
even
guys
way
have those
more.
vintage
Yes,
kind of
that's
collections.
what I'm saying. Could be even way more. Where is that furniture go for? What? Does it make sense?
The interesting thing is that they still want more. That is the interesting thing. You know, last time the richest person was, because it keeps fluctuating. It goes up, down, up and down. But it was last $200 billion.
Wow.
Obviously, most of it is in stock.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
But 200 billion.
That's outrageous. Like for one person. Can you tell me what it is? Are they wanting to buy the world now at this point?
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is, if you got $1 million every year, for more than 2,000 years to 2,000 years, you still wouldn't be as rich as those guys. Believe it or not.
No.
You still wouldn't be rich as Elon Musk, Jeff
Listen
Bezos.
to that.
That's how ridiculously rich they are. And for you to keep that kind, and the interesting thing for me is, I'm not like trying to badmouth them, but it's something they can reflect on themselves.
Yeah.
It's you can't be a philanthropist but have that kind of money. What are you really giving away? Honestly, does
that even make sense?
Does that even make any sense? And most of the time, you're giving it away because of tax reasons.
Not that
you know what? Let me.
Truly, far beyond that, what do you do?
You do.
Because $1 million out of your money is nothing. You take that money and give it to an organization, any organization, even around the world. You wouldn't even have felt it. It's like chunk change.
Chunk change. The problem also is that if you are living in a world where people that make money tend to want to make their money back, right? Investment, everything needs to be investment. It makes it hard to just give.
You have enough money to make, kind of last you a lifetime.
A lifetime.
A lifetime.
Your kids can
So you losing a mill, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Investment for what? Now you want to take back that $1 million. You probably make millions in a day already as it is.
Here's what I believe. I believe that it's good to try and invest in businesses. It's always good, right?
True.
You need money to circulate. It's good.
100%.
But I don't believe you should live that way. I don't think everything should always be a business mind. Because not everybody thinks like you. Sometimes, you know what? This month, actually, people just need to eat.
And that's it.
That's it. They don't have time. They don't have time to put that money away and let it grow. They're starving, right?
And you're telling me to save.
And you're telling me to say, I don't have time to save.
Save what money also?
I don't have time to save.
I need to eat.
I need to eat, right?
Every day I need to eat.
Every day. It's good that you can create a business so that your business can create jobs, right? But then, as I said, you cannot look at life like that and say, listen, everything needs to be business. Because now you're thinking in one way, and the world is more complex than that. Not everyone's supposed to be a business person.
Because even as we're touching on, when you are asking me, is it a healthy thing to sit on a desk? You know? It's also one of those things that you hire people to sit on a desk all the time. It's like, as an employee, what are you giving back to them? Because all of these people that sit in this office, they have major challenges, major challenges. And they could use with raises, they could use, with things that would also benefit them and help them, You could choose not to pay. You could choose to pay for their medical aids, all of them. I mean, a service to alleviate a little bit of the struggles that that your employees go through on a daily basis. Healthcare is expensive.
It is.
Healthcare is expensive. Discovery as it is, just one person to get a good package. That's 3,000 upwards. One person to get a good package.
That is someone's salary.
That is somebody's salary.
So you can't afford that.
So they can't afford that. So what are you doing? And it's not like these people can't team up with all of these other people like Discovery and whatnot, and create these things in the workplace. If you can find a space where maybe you create a daycare for mothers that can't, things like that. Because for some of us, life is happening.
It is happening. It is happening.
It hits hard.
So what happens if your life is sorted to the point where you know this month I'll get paid regardless, right? This month I'm 100% fine because of my job and my position. I'm sorted, and I'm talking about government officials. It doesn't matter. I'm sorted. The unfortunate thing is this: we tend to forget that politics are exactly that. Politics,
and
right?
that's it.
And that's it. So politics always have an agenda, propaganda. You know, they do all these tricky things. They know what to say, when, where. So people tend to forget that. Now, if you have someone who's been a politician, Lord knows for how long, and this person has been living off tenders, and their kids have been living off these tenders, what makes you think they can still remember the struggle? I mean, they've been living the life. You'd be surprised how a human being can easily forget where he comes from.
At this point, what struggle is there?
You know, you're
It
living
left
good. Yeah, it left a long time ago.
It left
Left a long
once
time.
1994 hit. I mean, things were getting better.
You were getting salaries.
Yes.
You were getting paid, getting promotions. I mean, you were in there learning the ins and outs of everything, right?
But let's also not forget that these apartheid kids and their parents, it's not like also like they kind of like were having it difficult. Some of these kids were studying in the States even at that time.
And basically, it was sacrifices that were made at that time to say that, you know what, we need educated people to come back and run the country. It would make sense for me.
Did they come back?
Thabo Mbeki came back. That's the only one I know. Probably a lot came back, I'm assuming, yeah, but he's the guy that came back, but yeah. So he did come back and, you know, it wasn't bad. I mean, he had his mistakes. You know what I like about him is he can admit.
You see, that's the
About his
candidates.
mistakes.
That's the candidates. That's the people that we need. Someone that is remorseful. Someone that can take responsibility for their actions. And that is the main problem of South Africa and the rest of the world, quite frankly. It's always nobody wants to take responsibility. There's no accountability whatsoever. So it's like, how do we even expect these people to be better people if they have no conscience or let alone a remorse? You know?
It's just take.
What can I take?
What can I take?
You know? And how can I cover this up so that you don't find out? And how far you go, how far these people go to hide these things, you know? And how far do they go?
How far do they go?
That now the rest of the youth is sitting here and suffering for it.
How can a country have so many unemployed youth?
And their entities have tumbled.
You know, have you ever been angry at a government?
We keep on being told to go to school.
You ever been angry at the government? You're no longer angry at the government, but you start being angry at the people because of the decisions they keep making. How the heck do you keep voting for people that don't look like they have your best interests
at heart? But it also says a lot about the people.
That's why I'm saying you end up, it's like you can't be angry at them. It's clear. You can see, okay, it's clear. But then you start looking back, dude, why are you doing this? Like, why do you keep voting for the same people? Clearly, they're getting worse.
Because
how can 500 billion go missing? You know, I wish someone, I wish someone, whether it be a businessman, an economist, an analyst, just break it down as to the like large amount that 500 billion is, so that he can really sit down and itch his head and be like, no, how is that okay?
And this is the thing that, and I know that I'm laughing and it's not really funny, but like, it's funny as in like, it's such a shock.
It's a shock.
It's an uncomfortable laugh. It's such a shock.
Dude,
it's a joke.
It's a joke. I even know people. I remember when Ramaphosa first came, they were like,
That guy
He's gonna change stuff. I don't want to call him out. You know, there'll be no name calling.
There'll be no.
But it was really disappointing. I guess you get those kind of people anyway that you just can't figure them. All you know is, you know what, they won't let go of this party.
No.
That's one thing you show
won't.
off. In terms of why, it begs the question. But all you know is these people will not let go of this party. So time passes, still the same thing. So the guy is still preaching the same thing. He's coming back. But did you hear what Ramaphosa said? Now he's gonna, dude, like, you really start to sound dumb. You know, at least have some, you know, just some integrity. You know, show that you're a human being. Like, you know, God gave you an ability to think.
Where
like,
are values? Where are your values?
Like, where you like what?
What are they? Do you even have any more? You know, and that's the scary thing about society. There are no values. It's like 0, 0, 0, 0. And the lack of empathy and compassion for the things that happen. But then again, how can we expect the people to have that? Because, I mean, if the government had that, like saying taking responsibility for your actions, it would have changed things. You know?
You know, this is the only, like, I wouldn't say only, since I only know our politics, but it's something new where if you are found with a scandal, you still want to stay in your position of power.
I mean...
This was not a usual thing. It was a common thing that if you were in a scandal or that you would, you know what, step down. And we all know who was the guy who never wanted to step down. He brought in, I think that guy brought in a different culture, I'll tell you that much.
I swear. And it... And the way that it just happened. And I don't think like we even expected to be here at this day and age in South Africa and look at the things that are happening. And it's funny how people speak about this person as though if there's something that he did for our people. He left our country in knees. Like our country is like crawling on its knees, you know? And then you wanna then again like talk about Thabo Mbeki. Our country was fine then.
Joe, like...
How much was bread when you were buying it? Now this person brought him and the son, and then all of these people, they just wanna take over. It's like a hostile takeover.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. That's someone who came in with his own agenda.
So who do you hold anyone accountable when everybody's guilty? Are they aware? Which jail cell are they all gonna fit in? Which one?
You know, the worst thing is exactly what you said, is that you still get people that claim that he did a lot. And I'm like, what the heck did he do?
And I'm like, where
like, dude, like,
where's this brainwashing happening?
Like, where have you been living? I just want to know, like, do you read the news, the stats? Have you seen them?
Are you
like,
guys...
You know, that's the good thing. That's the good thing about stats is that,
Facts.
you know, you can say whatever you want to say, but if facts say otherwise. If stats say, no, actually, unemployment is this high. Because what they do is we've actually managed to create this kind of jobs.
And who was in charge at the time?
You know who was in charge?
No,
an example would be...
And our education system... Yes. And so, to be told to go to school for nothing.
People are still jumping. Like, I want to go, and I'm like, if you can't pay, just don't put yourself in that position. Especially now in today's times. Like, you know, you have to be strategic about certain things, you know. Educate yourself in most cases. Instead of just... And the thing is about it is that, you know, I have a problem if you're told to just do something and then you still haven't found what you want to do. Because now you're going to end up doing something you don't want to do, and then you don't do well, and then now you created another problem and another, you know, that kind of thing. And
True.
I do understand. I do believe, yes, you shouldn't relax a lot, you know, too much. But then if you're really just forced into something, because the thing is, most people, especially now at this age, you're realizing people don't find their passions as early as you think they do.
No,
they don't.
It comes later in life.
Like way later.
Even the person that studied whatever it is,
suddenly it's like, you know what? He changes. Like, you know what, man? I found, because that's you get it. I understand. It teaches you, how to adapt. Yes, that's good. That's good. You can adapt. You're not always gonna have things your way. But then if someone is teaching you that it's a bad, I wouldn't say advice because I don't think that's an advice thing.
No,
Usually
it's
just
not. It's actually putting someone down.
down. Like, you know what? If you're not thinking like this,
if you're not thinking like this, if you're not doing
at this
this,
age, you know what? Sorry for you.
if you're not sleeping and working overtime, my body needs to rest. You sleep at night, and these are one of the many problems that is also wrong with our people, and their minds are indoctrinated with unhealthy things, and then all of a sudden, because society said so, it must be a healthy thing. How is it healthy? How are these things healthy?
The thing is, with life, you have to accept life exactly as how it is. And let me explain what I mean. Your path is different from the next person's path. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. That's just how it is, right? An example would be, I don't have too much example of SA people, but if I look at the entertainment, overseas, and then you're going to get someone like Bow Wow.
Yes.
Or Marion. I mean, they were young. They began young and
very young.
Successful.
Very young.
Right? Successful,
yeah.
Until, suddenly, okay, something is happening. And then you get someone like your Ross. He came in the game late. Very late. You should see how you should see. You should see the guy now. Still to this day, he's out of the music. He's not really there. But then, afterwards, just look at the businesses the guy has. So the point is that life, you can never rush. If someone is already there,
even
don't
Drake
think.
Himself, even Drake
never
himself.
arrived when he was really young. He never arrived when he was really young. But look at him.
Because he was doing other things in the acting scenes
and so forth. He was already, and then he was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna try this music.
Yeah.
On top of that, you look at Kevin Hart, dude. Kevin Hart, like
even that guy,
but his success just began like yesterday. Have you seen how old that guy is? It's very old. The Rock.
Especially
Dwayne The Rock. Guy has been hustling.
For you to move from wrestling and then to find a career in the movie,
movies, to be specific.
And then for his career to just plummet like that, it just goes to show you, like, the older you get, actually, there's something there, the level of maturity and the drive.
So success for me, it's just, you don't need to start giving up. And that's why I'm saying I'm against that when someone says, if you haven't thought about this at this age,
Isn't
give
it
up.
Society wants to tell us, it's too late.
No, it's
how
not
can it
too
be too late when you're 30 years old? When you're 35,
so young.
So, how can you be too old?
How can you put such a mindset in a young person?
There are people who struck their business at 40.
Dude,
and
go
the person
check,
is a millionaire.
Yeah, go check the history of the guy who came up with the KFC. Guy was in his 70s. Like, the guy was old when KFC started kicking off. And he never did really kick off until he passed away. But the KFC, the guy was old.
Yeah.
You understand? So he didn't put himself in that position and say, you know what, I'm old, He's like, you know what, I have a passion. I like what I'm doing, and I'm still gonna do it. And I can be successful at it too.
This is why it goes back to that thing when you asked me about your hair. Is that once you start taking small risks that are for you as well, you know what I mean? These small risks where you are bold, they teach you something in life that, you know what? I did this yesterday. I pulled it off. And how I felt, I didn't feel ashamed of myself. I didn't feel otherwise. Then you start, because it's very important that spiritually, mentally, you train yourself. You train yourself. You are the one that encourages yourself. because nobody else encourages you. So the hair that you're going to do, wear it and be proud of it. You know? Is it harming anyone? It's not harming anyone.
So far, no.
No.
That I heard of.
Yeah, it's not harming anyone. But do you see little by little that is a self-esteem booster?
I didn't pay attention. I mean, you taught me something right now, but yeah, I didn't pay attention to it.
It starts, that's why they say don't steal, don't start to steal, because then the more, like, you start, it's small, and then it's big. So that's the thing about self-esteem as well. You start small, right?
Yeah. And then you grow from there.
You'll be presenting in front of people. So it starts with these small things that we do, and you do it for yourself. You do it for your inner self. To wake up and say that even when you can't get out of bed and you're like, nah, you know what am I tripping about? I did this. Today is no different. Pick up your socks. Move. So we should be more self-aware. And the problem with society is that we're not self-aware of even the little things that we do. Give yourself grace.
I can really agree with you that there's self-awareness.
Give yourself grace. All the time.
In the spiritual journey?
And a spiritual journey. For me, I started again the spiritual journey. A couple of years back, I had, and then in between you get lost again. You get lost. But I found it. I told myself last year, I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to a fellowship with the Lord. Because if I thought that I could do it by myself, I was lying to myself. And so many things just keep on being revealed that no matter what it is that I do, I will not be perfect, for one, But that spiritual journey for me is important. That reminds me that I'm alive and breathing. And it helps me a lot. Like, I get through. Even if I'm having a bad day, something is bothering me. In my head, in my heart, even when I'm sitting with people, you just pray. You're constantly talking to the Lord. Regardless of whether you don't know what you're doing. But in your mind, mentally, like, dear Lord, I do not know what I'm doing. However, may your will be done. Not mine. Yours at the end of the day. Please guide me through this thing. And he will reveal the truth. All the time the truth will be revealed, whatever it is that you're doing, because you're asking for the truth to be revealed. But you need to be astute, right? You need to know the truth also.
Is there such a thing as truth? Because the way people tend to speak is as though there's no such thing as truth. Do you believe there is such a thing as truth?
Yeah, the Lord's truth, not our truth. Because, like I say, his will, not ours. I have my will. I can say, the truth is the fact that you look ugly. Is that the truth?
As you said, it's your truth.
No. Is it the truth? Because the Lord says all of my kids are beautiful. Is that the truth? It's not the truth.
Means there's something wrong with me. It just means
it's not the truth. It's not the truth. And so that trust in the Lord is also like, it's like the number one confidence booster. You can't tell me anything. So I know his truth. That's why I remind myself, even when when there is voices in my head telling me that I can't do this, the Lord steps in. That's why he'll forever be my shelter, my main confident booster, because I can't get it from a human being.
Amen, sister. Amen. Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen to that.
You know?
Jokes aside, really, You know, it's because you know, people tend to wanna ignore that part. You know, just especially when people, I've noticed that when people know what they're doing is wrong, I mean, they go so far as to, try and twist the truth
It's the problem.
just to accommodate their sinful nature. It's just, you see that every time. It's just so hard for someone to say, you know what, yes, that's a sin. You know what, I'm wrong. I need help. And I to be specific, you have to be, I need help from Jesus Christ. Like, I need that help. You know what, man, I just can't do this. I'm weak. This sin is really that's taking
weighing
over me.
me down. It's starting to take control now, and it's maneuvering parts of my life where it shouldn't be maneuvering parts of my life.
If he says, "He who's not with me is against me," it would simply mean exactly. If you tend to go against the word, obviously you're against the Lord. You are simply saying, you know what? Listen, you're wrong and I'm right.
Pretty much, that's what
you're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
And usually when people tend to start like that, you'll notice it ends up almost being like a war. I mean, they just go for it. I mean, they're trying to knock.
Do you see how
trying to knock him down?
become?
I mean, they become so destructive. It's a mission. It's no longer just, you know what, I don't think this. It's like, you know what, you guys are being, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you.
Do you see such delusion on top of that again?
Says someone whose life is already falling apart. Is gonna try and help you.
Wow.
Yeah. All because of a certain sin that it was
small.
A small sin that he could, it was easy. You could have just went to the Lord and said, you know what, Lord, I'm sorry. Forgiven. But no, he doesn't want to, or she, that area. So he's going to stick to that path until, all hell break loose. The worst thing about those things is that people that tend to do that is once they're really convicted, that sin, and they finally, turn back to the Lord, you just can't win everybody that you deceived along the way.
No, unfortunately
that's the sad thing about that, is that you can't go back and say, guys, listen, I was wrong. Yes, I lied in this,
I also have a question for you, because you know how God believes in giving people second chances. Like when do you give somebody a second chance? And how do you know? Because then again, it's like you're saying, it would be hard to win those people back. Is he really changed?
Yeah, I see.
Is he? Is he not going to do those things again?
Okay.
Should we give people second chances? And when should we know not to?
Well, we all know it's easier to always reflect in your experiences yourself. It makes it easier, to feel sympathy for that other person because you're understanding your road, your challenges and so forth, and how much you needed the Lord to forgive you. So you'd understand that, that person needs that very same chance. But there's a difference between forgiving and still walking the same road with the person. It's not the same thing, right? Now, the truth is I don't have the answers to say, okay, in this situation, walk with him. You also have to use your own wisdom. It's your own path. You have to use your own wisdom, right? No matter how hard, when the Lord speaks to you, if the Lord says go back, whether when he's telling you to go back, right? If he tells you, what, just don't go, because this person hasn't changed. Because if someone hasn't changed particularly, what are you going back at? Because it's still the same person, right?
What if they say they've changed? You haven't seen them literally.
And you have to give them that chance. I said, you have to give them that benefit of the doubt.
A year, and then they're like, I've changed.
That's why I'm saying, always reflect to your experiences. Because as much as you would think...
Because they will guide you.
Yeah. Because as much as you would think, and we tend to do that, we think that, I changed overnight. You didn't change overnight.
True.
You never did. You noticed that you changed at a certain period, but during that period, you were still the same. You started noticing right after maybe even 3 years, damn it, I was out of control. So for you to say, you know what, I'm done because you don't want to change, no, it's not fair. Honestly, it's not fair. Right? Because you also need, even to this day, you still need the same.
Every single day. It's that grace.
That's why, for me, as I said, when it comes to that, I would have to say, you have to use your own wisdom because it's your own path. Right? But then, people are not like, are not like a phone. You're not just going to get up, buy another one, and it's going to work. You get it. If you meet the next person, right, whether it be a friend, man, everything starts out good. I think that's the part that you need to accept. Everything starts out good. So be careful. Sooner or later, that person is going to start revealing their true colors. You will also start revealing your true colors. So it's easier. That's why they say in marriage, that's why the Lord doesn't want divorce. It's easier. Just deal with that person. Deal with it. It's not as worse as you make, especially if it's just minor conflicts that tend to be irritating. You can live with that. I'm not saying if someone is abusive, all that. That's a different conversation, right? Yeah, thief or those kind of things. There are certain behaviors. You know what? It's just dangerous to be in that.
To be in that state.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like those minor things. If you forget, maybe still has a bad habit of, not washing his stinking feet or his sofa. It's an irritating thing that you live with. It's a relationship. It's like at home. You have a brother that there's this thing that he likes doing that I still hate to this day, but because you love him so much, what does it matter? It makes sense. And what does it matter?
That's what love is, right?
That's what love. So even when it comes to
word.
Even when it comes to a friend is the very same thing. There has to be something that person does that just, it irritates you. Oh, I don't know why you do this. But for me, that's where love is proven as to. It always prevails, such as, that's my homeboy, or that's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Not necessarily something that is a very toxic trait.
Kind of trait, yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a manipulator.
Yes.
Right, that's a different conversation.
Or a liar.
A thief, as you said before.
Or somebody that talks behind your
back.
We can't
just minor flaws, minor flaws. Yeah. So just continue praying for the person and yourself. Especially for me, I most of the time pray for yourself, then pray for the person. But never forget to pray for yourself, because remember, what you are struggling with is a certain character of this person. So pray for that, Lord. Please give me patience.
Peace and patience.
Long suffering. Because that's what you need at that moment. Pray for those things, because right now you're also being tempted. So pray for those things. You gotta know what to pray for. Right?
Yeah, that's another thing. We have to know what to pray for. We always have to know what we pray for, because you have to also know what you're fighting. Because if you know what you're fighting, you'll know what to pray for. Right?
Because you don't want to lose a good person. It's hard to find a good person.
It is.
It is hard to find a good person. So you don't want to lose that good person. And in most cases, you can't get them back. That's the worst thing about it. You lose a good friend, it's gone. Sometimes you lose a good husband, good wife. They tend to be gone most times. So you don't want to take that risk and be like, you know what? I'll come back. You come back, is like, in fact, he's still a loving person. It's like, you know what? I know, but I've moved on. I'm a different person now than you get it. Because it is true, it's a different, he grew without you. Hence, you should have grown with the person. You grow together, right? Through these experiences and so forth. But if you keep detaching yourself and be like, you know what, do your thing, I do my thing. And people it's today's times, let me concentrate on myself. Dude, how long?
I mean, this self-love of theirs, like
how long?
Another thing.
I'm always baffled about that, dude. Like, what is, do you know all your life you've had time to yourself? Like, what are you still trying to discover? Like,
you talk by
yourself. Like, what are you trying to discover? Let me go discover. What are you discovering about yourself?
You sit and work and you are sitting by yourself. Like, you're in the car, you're by yourself.
Literally all your life.
You left and went to a party by yourself.
I always find it that, it's not a scapegoat. I have to discover yourself. You know what's wrong with you.
But it's
stop
also
what you're doing.
Entertaining.
Yeah, stop what you're doing. And
get
fix
out of it. And fix it and get out of it.
Because it's not gonna fix itself.
Self.
Yeah.
It's not.
it's what we choose to invest our time in anyway. So
100%. I mean, also, but those are also the things. It's like, what is a person choosing to invest their time in, and it's those things that are a make or break.
Yeah.
And how long?
Especially in today's times, the problem is that we've given, I would even say, money and material certain characteristics.
Such ammunition.
Yeah, certain characteristics that they don't possess.
They don't possess at all.
Right.
It's like it must be a substitute for love now, all of a sudden.
I'll make an example. Let's say there's a wise person. He's not rich. He's surviving, he's doing, but he's a very wise person. Has a wife, kids, and then you go to your Elon Musk. That money, you would choose Elon Musk's advice over that guy's advice.
Because of the money.
Because of the money. Because we tend to think if you have money,
you've got the best
you've got the best. There's something that you did right everywhere in life. We cannot separate a certain trade, right?
Therefore,
we just
again,
we give it a certain characteristics that it just doesn't have.
How do we know how he completely got all of his money? Like, how do people... Like, this is the thing about people. Nobody knows people's intricate details of how they got their monies. And so, for you to then just sit on that and be like, well, I'm just going to listen to this person.
This guy.
Because I remember there was this TikTok. This girl, she's like, yeah, I want to be sitting with people like this, network. And the video was these old guys, and it's just their cars lined up. And she's like, I want to be sitting, with these guys and network and whatnot. And I think to myself, how misguided are you? How do you know how they made their money and how they got those cars? You understand what I'm saying? And what makes you think when you're sitting with them, they're sitting and they're networking? They're probably talking about their cars, the next car they wanna. Yeah, and these people are very shallow. That's another thing. The thing is,
you can never just swallow. You can never swallow, a human being's nature and change all of a sudden. You know what this is? No,
No.
A human is just a human. Somewhere there was this guy. I'm not gonna call him. Z knows him, right? So we used to conversate. We have these conversations, and all this stuff. And then he's like, you know what, guys? I once met this guy. And all this guy could talk about was business, right? It's like all this guy could talk about was business.
Wow.
The thing is, you guys, you gossip about people, you talk about people, We said there, my brother, like, he's right. We really do talk a lot about people, right?
All the time.
All the time. The conflicting thing is, but we also talk about business like all the time. You get it? So it got to that point where you're sitting and then you're reflecting. Because it's usually when someone says something, it's as though he makes, and then again, wait a minute. No, man, come on. While we were speaking, we were working. So what was that all about? You get what I'm saying? Like, what do you think a human being is actually? Is it someone who just talks? That's the other thing.
Must we be robots?
Yeah, must we be robots and just talk about business? Like, is that the best thing in life? Like,
is that
guys,
healthy though?
Yeah, like let's talk about business. And as I said, I'm going back to what I was telling you, that the world is this belief that money, they've given it this certain characteristic that it just doesn't have, right? That, what, guys, continue talking about business, continue talking about, all you have to do is talk about, don't sleep, work, constantly just, that kind of conversations that you have.
Is it going to still, the question is, you're going to talk about business 24 hours.
24 hours.
Right?
That's the advice.
So,
business.
As you're talking about business, like what money is coming in every hour? Is it 50 Rand that you're making every time you're talking about business also? So let's just also like be careful as to that these outrageous societal things, like I said, that are being created, is that just because I can talk about business 24, but if I'm not even making money, then again, what's the point?
If my intention is at the wrong place,
to make it look like you're important? It's like all of these things that are just given a certain value. If I don't want to talk about something now, I don't want to talk about it. If I want to make fun of a movie and let's all laugh for a moment and then we move on from it, you know, these steps that these people are regulating and they're just enforcing on us, and the fact that now they've become a habit, it's a problem.
Yeah. You know, as I was saying, so I'm adding, going back to that story because I wanted to close it like this.
Okay, sorry.
So, it's fine. I'm pissed already because I'm thinking, you know what? I felt disrespected. I really did. Okay, fine. He's speaking as though he knows that guy. Who the heck talks about business the whole day? Comes back. The guy wants to now suddenly talk about it. I stopped. I said, nah, we don't gossip. Let's not gossip, me and you. I'll gossip with my brother.
The comeback was real quick.
I'll gossip. I don't roll like that. Like I don't roll like that. That's not how I do things. Like
I'm also the same way. I'm a very good listener, and so my comprehension is also like that. That if that's you around you,
fine. If you wanna play smart like that, like let's talk. It's cool.
Then let's
stick it. Let's do it. I did it a couple of times. Yeah. But I told her, I was like, nah, me and you only talk business. We don't talk
anything else. Because we're giving you what it is that you want. That you want. And that seem to be, you know, such of an importance to you.
You know, the inventions and most creative things that happened were people were having fun. They were just minding their own business. Maybe someone was just walking and then he came up with this idea. That's the amazing thing about it.
Because the mind needs to be relaxed at the same time. Like you can't be rigid.
So that's another thing that steals the creativity. A lot of people are into that. I'm thinking business. You know what? Sometimes when you just need to go and play some soccer and then come back.
Go with the flow.
You know, then it was like, gosh, you won't believe what I thought of. Then you start working on it.
And it's also like in the small conversations that we have.
Dude, like the little things that you don't pay attention to. But then when you come back to it, you're like, oh, okay.
And that's how people, you know, came up with so many things.
A lot of things. No one came up with something. It's rare that someone really came up with something.
And you're really thinking about it.
Thinking about it. Like, you know what, I need to know. They took a break and then he did what he had to do. Yeah, but, you know, all in all, it was fun having you here.
Thank you so much. I had such a good time, and I hope that I will come back.
It's a guarantee. You have to come back.
I have to come back, right? I have to. I really did enjoy it. The topics that we touched on, it also just seemed that, you know, we were, you know, on the same page about a lot of things. And they say great minds think alike.
Don't worry, next time we'll debate. It's not a problem.
Oh, yeah, we're going to debate.
We will.
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.